So
You
Google
know what I'm
watching
saying?
UFOs?
Need some advice, Rockhead. Make
Um,
sure you get drunk or hit a stick of PCP before you go over there.
Ooh, you saw Alien? Keep shit cool, nigga. Everybody's
Yeah. Light your blunts. Get your drinks. Show's about to begin. Welcome to the Goose Show. We got Pomona in the building. Talk about the aliens, the government betrayed you. Talk about the flying saucers seeing from the building. Higher than I'm feeling, they look rather appealing. The Goose Show. They abducting the human race. Aliens appearing and moving in outer space. Ancient text mentions them sharing wisdom with all. But humans don't be listening, rather start them a war. Fucking off the planet, pollution causing the damage. I'm chilling in Pomona where homies talking in Spanish. Let the world know about Pomona teaching the mass. Shout out to Kev Mac, Omar Bradley and my kids. My wifey too, because they know I'm a survivor. 5 shots couldn't take me down cause I'm a rider. Then was on the ventilator, still I had to rise up. Telling y'all the truth, man, I'm here to remind you. It's only up for me from now to the future. Thanks for your support and I'ma give you what you used to. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding what they demanding. So look out for the aliens, they landing. The Goose Show, we got Pomona in the building. Talk about the aliens, the government betrayed you. Talk about the flying saucers seeing from the building. Higher than I'm feeling, they look rather appealing. The Goose Show, we got Pomona in the building. Talk about the aliens, the government betrayed you. Talk about the flying saucers seeing from the building. Higher than I'm feeling, they look rather appealing. The Goose Show.
welcome everybody to the Goob Show. I am Goob. This is a Taco Tuesday edition of the Goob Show. We're going to talk about this Artemis rocket that didn't get to go off. I was in the chat. Tori Thompson, welcome to the platform. He worked for Cape Canaveral. We were just going off in the comments, and he was telling us why they didn't let it off, or or it didn't take off because of one of the rockets. I did hear that. Southside Compton, what's up? Crystal Brown, was good with you. I heard that one of the engines was, or my question was, why after 50 years they decided to go back to the moon. And I think they sending the Artemis up there to scope the moon. And that's what I'm going to get into. They're going to have to scope because, like I said, the reason for them going back after 50 years, there was a reason why they stopped going up there. Rob, what's good with y'all? Appreciate you stopping through. Um, there had to be a reason. We haven't been since 1972. Was Apollo 17. A lot of people say that they don't believe that we ever went to the moon. I don't know why a person would think that, being that something so close to us that nobody on Earth will want to try to conquer, whether it's Russia, whether it's China, whether it's United States. We always want to be, somebody wants to be the first of the big powers. So that's why I believe that we have been there. But my point is, why did we stop going? Or why did everybody stop going? Not just us. Russia stopped going. China stopped going. Was it something that they seen up there? Because there's a lot of things that surely have been seen on the internet as far as bases that they already have. Are they are going to scope it out? Are they going to go look and see where they can land without affecting somebody else? Jimmy S3 was good with you. Appreciate you tapping in. Or what? Tori Thompson, you know anything about that? The reason or reasons why they're deciding after 50 years to. I know they want to send people to the moon. Um, and I think it's like our technology that we had, because I did a live where it shows that we had electric cars back in the 1800s, and we stopped that production because we couldn't get um, those cars to go more than 40 miles on a charge. So they didn't have the charging station. We just now getting charging stations all over. Frank White, what's good with you? I appreciate you stopping through. So that technology was dumped back then, even though electric cars probably was before. I'm pretty sure it was before gas cars, because we didn't know about having oil and using gas back then. Not sure, just my assumption. So now I'm saying, in 1972, we only had the ability to send three astronauts, two that went onto the moon and one that stayed up in the capsule. But now we're going back after 50 years, even though we're trying to get to Mars. Are they trying to use this as the first stepping stone to get to Mars? That might be the question. My question is, why did you stop in that last Apollo 17 mission? Was it something up there seen or told? Because that would be a great stop off point for anything that's coming to our planet or coming into our galaxy. I've showed, and many other people have shown and talked about portals that we have. I'm not sure if there's portals that's on the moon itself. Trying to wait to see Omar come in. Prior to that, I do have a video that they deleted from uh, Department of Defense a couple days ago that popped up on Reddit. And I have a few videos that popped up on Reddit, but this one was deleted by the Department of Defense. Um, and it clearly shows something in the area of the Department of Defense that was recorded on um, their video. Late night. Why they deleted it off of um, or out of their actual filming of it? Somebody on Reddit caught it, and you can clearly see that it's something um, in the air. Then I have a couple more videos, and then I'll get into the Apollo 17 missions, why they stopped. Um, what is Artemis 1 supposed to be doing? From my understanding, I think it's supposed to be a probe on the top of Artemis 1. Terry Thompson said it's a big rocket. But is that rocket used to push that probe out to go around to scan the moon again? Because after 50 years, you're going to want to see, are there different areas that you can land in? I'm pretty sure NASA knows that it's something up there on that moon. We can't be the only one that occupies it, and that might be just China or Russia or any other, um, Japan, anybody else that has that technology could be. However, since it's taken 50 years, I'm pretty sure that us as a government, the United States knows if somebody is pushing outside of this atmosphere. We can do it knowing if any rockets are coming to our area, or being shot off. What's good with you, cowboy? Appreciate you stopping through. Um, so I'm gonna play these videos. Wait for my boy Omar to come in so we can get in this subject. I had these tooled up. This is a Department of Defense video that they have of a UFO that happened, I think, on the 27th, 26th or the 27th. I'm gonna have to look at the timeline again. And it's this one right here. Let me move myself out and make it a little bigger. On the 27th, And what you're seeing in the background is what the video is actually videotaping. It's a security cam. Took a video of it. As you can see, it came and disappeared. But somebody, I think, had to be controlling this camera because it was able to zoom in and zoom out. Is it that the person that decided to tell his superiors, hey, it's something in the sky. We need to get rid of this video before it gets out? Because the video, the whatever object this is in the sky does something um, real amazing to look. Because right now it just looks like a circle, a herb, a orb, or something. But in a minute, it's going to zoom in. See, it zooms in, and watch what this light does. See, it just moved real fast. And then it came up to that. This is what I'm baffled at. From the movement here, it's fast right there. And it moves to that. Would definitely look like not a circle. It looks like something with something on the top of it. Now, people can take their own explanations of what that might be. That's not a normal aircraft. I'll put it that way. Say what you will. Like I say, I don't put these videos up as far as I know what they are. I'm asking everybody else what they could be. To me, I'm a believer. So I look at, objectively, I look at something different. This right here does not look like any aircraft normal that we have um, in our repertoire. Then the possibility then what also needs to be explained or is why they deleted this video. And it just happened to come up on Reddit, UFOs, you can look it up, and a couple other sites. But I usually use Reddit UFOs. A lot of people download a lot of videos on there. A lot of people do it on Instagram. Um, this one I happened to catch, and I was just fascinated at it because of what it looks like when they zoomed in. Because zoomed out, it looks like nothing but an orb. Um, and they got a nice little realm. But as you can see, this was on the 27th, 3 days ago, and it just disappears. Um, Now we could have that technology. I wouldn't put it past us if we had that technology already. Where are we getting that technology from? Like I say, what my understanding in my live is about Artemis 1 and why after 50 years do we decide now that we want to go to um, back to the moon. That was my whole process of even taking it, doing my YouTube channel because I speak about the back of the moon. I think that's one of the most fascinating subjects that people can talk about is the back of the moon. Now, because we see the front of the moon all the time, we never see what's on the back of the moon, except for if just like Apollo 17. I was trying to look through the what they have is they have an image library and they have the conversation of them talking while they were going on the mission. Once again, a lot of people don't believe that we ever went to the moon. I don't see why. Cowboy, this question, Cowboy says, do you think NASA was the first team to enter space from the planet? I do not believe that. I don't believe that. I'm going to have to go back um, because I think it was a battle between, and we'll look at this question if anybody knows any better, Tori Thompson or anybody. What I believe, I think it was a battle between us and Russia to get there first. But the first ones to enter space, I have to look that up. Matter of fact, I'm gonna Google that and see what it says. Who was the first to enter space? Hold on. That's a good question. I'm not sure. I know there was a battle um, between, or there was a fight of see who was going to go first between United States and Russia. I think Russia, Tory Thompson, I think Russia made it first with the Sputnik. That's where I think, yeah, it was something that I was looking at that, and I believe it's right here. We're gonna look at this video since you asked that question. Good question. I remember I had this video uh, posted because it's the last one, Apollo 17, and it is the reason. I think Sputnik is what made us because the United States was scared that Sputnik, well, that what Russia put out there was not just going to the moon, that it was going to do something else to us. What's good with you, Aunt? Appreciate you stopping through. So I believe it was Sputnik, and I believe they said in this 1972 um, video that I had keyed up that I was going to play anyway. So we're going to check out this video because I think they speak on it and it'll answer the question that you asked, Cowboy. What's up, Babyface Loaster? Appreciate you stopping through. I'm not your normal YouTuber up in this bitch. We talking about space shit up in here. So let's check this out. I had it keyed up for.
All engines are started. We have ignition. 2, 1, 0. We have a liftoff. We have a liftoff, and it's lighting up the area. It's just like daylight here at Kennedy Space Center.
So this was the last
It is now clear the tower.
supposed trip to the moon, and they're going to speak on why we started these whole adventures and got 17 of them. Working on the space, Tori says, working on the space base is so boring, but it's cool when something takes off. Yeah, I can imagine, homie. I'm scared of heights, which is crazy. Damn, would I be fascinated with this, man. I'm fascinated with this.
17 Houston, you are go for orbit. Go for orbit.
Things I always believe people went low key, but wasn't sure if anyone had knowledge of people's goings. Pastor Q.
After checking out the spacecraft in Earth orbit,
That's what we
they
asked
burned
the
out of
question.
orbit
Why
and
after
headed toward
50
the moon.
years are they willing to go back? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people are like you. They don't believe that we ever will.
Ron Evans, at the controls of the Command Module America, moved in to dock with the lunar module Challenger. They pulled Challenger free of the booster's third stage, then continued the 3-day coast to the moon.
So this was December 7th,
Even as Cernan, Evans, and Schmidt headed toward the moon, directly below the Apollo 17 control room, Flight Director Don Putty ran his crew through a launch simulation of the first Skylab. December 10, 1972. America and Challenger went into orbit around the moon.
Houston, this is America. You can breathe easier. America has arrived at our station for the Challenger head.
The next day, December 11, Cernan and Schmidt entered the lunar module and undocked.
You look just as pretty in Earth light as you do in sunlight.
That's some cool shit there, man.
good burn. You're loud and clear. We're level with the top of the seat now. Gotcha.
See,
Okay, 1511510. Enter.
my question
Okay,
sometimes
check
I ask
4.
is why would they all
Okay,
do this if it was just a
Okay,
fake?
brother, we're out of 11,000 at 9. Okay, stand by for pitch over. Oh, are we coming in?
Big facilities away
Oh,
from
baby.
public view.
Okay, through 9,000. Stand by for pitch over, Jack. 8,000. I'll need the throne. I'll give it to you. There it is. Proceeded. And there it is, Houston. It's Camelot. Wide on target. I see it. We got them all. 42 degrees, 37 degrees, to 5,500. 38 degrees.
Nigeria, go to the landing.
You know, but wouldn't it?
42 degrees through 4,000. 47 now. 47 degrees through 3,500.
Wouldn't that be
49
what
degrees.
UFOs or whatever are doing to us when
3,000
we see
feet.
orbs?
53 degrees.
Just
Okay,
sending
I've
them out.
got
we don't have
Barre,
to
I've
send
got Poppy,
people.
I've got the triangle. That's 2,500 feet, 52 degrees.
So I wouldn't be surprised that we
H
send
dot is
drones
good.
to see.
Said the 2,000. H dot is good. Fuel is good. 1,500 feet. 54 degrees, Gene. Approaching 1,000. Approaching 1,000 feet. 57 degrees. Okay, you're through 1,000. I'm taking radar altitude and pings altitude degree. You're through 800 feet. H dot's a little high. Yeah, I don't need the numbers anymore. Okay, you're 31 feet per second, going down to 500. 25 feet per second through 400. That's a little high, Gino. Okay. 300 feet. 15 feet per second. Little high. H dot's a little high. Okay, I've got C60. Okay. Okay, 9 feet per second down at 200.
Yeah, that's what I would
Going
think.
down at 5.
Tory Thomas, it's the same thing that we would do. I'm gonna pause this real quick. Is
Feels good.
hold on, I
110 feet. Stand by for some tests. Little forward, G. Little forward a little. 90 feet. Little forward velocity. 80 feet.
I appreciate
Going
you
down at
tapping
3.
in at all there, Hitty God. Appreciate you, bro. For real.
Getting a little dust. You're at 60 feet. Going down about 2. Very little dust. Very little dust. 40 feet. Going down at 3. Stand by for touchdown. Stand by. 25 feet. Down at 2. Feels good. 20 feet. Going down at 2. 10 feet. 10 feet. Contact.
See, I mean, that's a lot.
Engine stop. Engine arm.
That's a lot of money to spend to fake
Full
a
control.
moon
Add all
landing
things auto.
17 times.
Okay, Houston, the Challenger
Or
has
how many other
landed.
times they videoed or said they was there.
December 11th. Cernan, then Schmidt, left the lunar module to begin their first EVA.
As I step off at the surface at Taurus Littrow, we'd like to dedicate the first step of Apollo 17 to all those who made it possible.
Their first job was to unload equipment, including their rover, the electric car in which they would drive to the exploration sites.
That's beautiful. It's got to be one of the most proud moments of my life, I guarantee it. We thank you very much.
As Cernan drove the equipment-laden rover, Schmidt carried the scientific experiments package called LSET.
Hey, you need me, Gene? No, I'm going to go deploy an outfit. And
The U.S.
In
is
Houston,
Unmanned Aerial.
scientists in the science support room watched, correlating and directing their movements.
okay, Bob. I've got my tools of the trade right here.
I've been
As
trying
he set
to.
up the various experiments, Cernan drilled a series of holes, both to collect core samples and to implant experimental probes.
I was trying to pause it, so I'm just gonna take it off for a minute. Hold on. Damn it. It's doing what it want to do. Oh, that's why, because I'm sitting up here looking at it on the.
I need to get the jack in over here, other side.
I'm the one supposed to pause it from there because there's a couple questions I want to add to Tori Thompson, but I want to bring Omar in. We can continue the conversation. But Tori, I believe that the U.S. has been using unmanned aerial. It's just like what they said they sent to. They have a new. What people don't know, they have a new weapon in Afghanistan that the United States gave Afghanistan, or maybe I'm mistaken. That it's a new war out there where they don't have to send people in the war; they send drones, and drones will go. It's the same one that killed this dude from that was from Al Qaeda or whatever. They don't necessarily have to send people in the war now. They can send drones. All they got to do is have the image of the person that they're looking for. Once that drone sees them, they shoot. So I'm pretty sure that we've sent enough out there trying to get close to the moon, but we want to scope it all the way around. And I think that's what Artemis 1 is trying to get another scope around that moon to find out where we can land to avoid what we seen 50 years ago. I believe that. With that, I'm going to bring in my buddy, my homie, Omar Bradley. Junior, what's happening with you, my brother?
What's going on, champ? How you feeling today?
I'm doing all right, my brother. How about
That's
yourself?
what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, man, that's some interesting stuff you've been talking about.
Yeah, miss. And that's why I was showing this video of the last landing. Like I say, like who was that? Pastor Q asked a question that a lot of people ask. You know, he's 70-30. He said, I'm about 70-30 when it comes to the moon landing.
Right.
Because there are questions of, did we really go? My thing is, okay, we're going to skip the moon to go to Mars? Why would we skip something that's right there, that's accessible, unless after we kept going up there, kept going there, something said, hey, either you going to go with us and do how we do up here, or don't come back up here, or we're going to get an alliance, as we spoke about. So what is your opinion of that?
I personally think that we did go to the moon. You know, the spirit of competition drives people a lot harder than anything else, you know.
Right.
We were in complete competition with Russia. You know, Russia was doing their thing. Russia made us look bad. Excuse the boxes. Russia made us look bad. And we needed to do something in the immediate to catch up. You know, I don't really think that America as a country likes to play second fiddle to anybody, and they were willing to do whatever they needed to do. You know, when you put a lot of man hours into something, when you stay up all day and all night, you eventually have that aha moment. I mean, we not stealing German scientists before Russians get to them, just for the sake of it. We not stealing top secret information from Germany as we fight them in World War II.
Did you see Tori Thomas?
Just for the sake of it.
Cut you off. Did you see Tori Thomas? He works at the place where they running the he's at Cape Canaveral.
Absolutely. So, I mean, it's what is at the time, In
and
the
not
60s,
generate revenue.
at the time in the 60s, what drove us to go was competition.
Right.
It was competition. We are going to beat somebody else there. The Cold War is over. We know that we are superior to every other country on the planet. So to go now would just, you know what I'm saying? What's the point?
What do you think that we're going now for? What do you think? Give me your assumption of why you think they sending the Artemis 1. Because they are we trying to explore? Are we trying to put people on the moon before we put people on Mars, or are
the
we
reason
just
the reason for Artemis is because we have found a backdoor way to spend money so that we don't get laughed. You know, people are really fickle nowadays. Americans don't care about space. Most Americans don't care about space. You know, you can't see it. You can't see it, so it don't matter, right? And now we have corporations that want to go to space. And so we can fund the corporations, and the corporations can pretend that they're spending their money. But in order to be rich, you don't spend your own money. That's the secret to being rich. You spend somebody else's money.
for
So
anybody
here
that
we
might
are
want to
now.
come in and comment on this?
Here we are now.
Right.
Elon Musk and the rest of them, they getting funds from the federal government to help them get to where they want to go. And now that you are commercializing space, well, now there's a reason for us to go as a country because you want to set the rules. It's almost like we talked about this before. We talked about maritime law, and we talked about the ocean. And isn't it absurd how much ocean belongs to the United States and it's in the United States territory? How much ocean belongs to China and it's in China's territory? How much ocean belongs to, and it's like, wait a minute, it's ocean.
Right.
How do you determine what part of something that's not even solid is yours? And how do you determine what starts the middle? So,
okay.
And I agree with you, Troy, that corporations are getting billions of tax subsidies and that they are cheaper than NASA. But NASA, see, here's the thing, and you have to agree with me on this. NASA has a market cornered, and that market that they have cornered is where are the launch pads?
Florida.
Where are the launch pads? Does Elon Musk have his own launch pad?
No, he got to use somebody else's, don't he?
You got to come to NASA for their launch pad. So the bottom line is, if you're gonna run a long con. I mean, I don't mean to say it like that, but I'd gladly give you the money to do the hard work and figure this shit out. But if you want to launch, you got to come see me first, and then it becomes a joint venture.
Right.
You understand? This is a joint venture now because you got to launch from my launch pad.
He said SpaceX is leasing launch pads for U.S. Air Force.
But isn't the Air Force and NASA the same thing? They're the same branch. I mean, they not technically the same branch, but they broke off from each other, right? I mean, NASA is still military. Your pilots, that's where they get their pilots from, right?
Right. I suppose. I don't know.
I mean, the Air Force don't have nothing to do with space.
Right.
I mean, Donald Trump told us that. I mean, we had United Space Command, but United Space Command was NASA. But now we got the Space Force.
G-Man, what's good with you, my brother? I appreciate you, homie, for stopping. If it was that easy with the technology that had back then, then it should be like driving a car with the knowledge we have today.
That's not necessarily true. I mean, if you think about it, they say the Native Americans were able to track animals and track people by looking at they prints in the dirt. But who could do that shit now? You know, there's a lot of things that we lose if we don't use it. NASA is Tory Thompson. NASA is its own entity, but it didn't start off that way. NASA needed military development, and it got its funding from Kennedy for the military to break off. Just like the Air Force came from the Army, and the Navy came from the Marines came from the Navy.
Let me ask you this question, because we've spoke on this before, and they talk about, do you think there's some kind of alliance?
Huh?
Do you think there's some kind of alliance that we want to try to get with who is already on the back of the moon? We cannot say that we're the only, whether it's Russia, China, Japan, or the United States, the big four or whatever, or anybody else. You think there's a galactic alliance with whoever's up there saying, hey, come back, we'll talk about it now?
Now, you read Behold the Pale Horse. You know that there's talk of a galactic alliance.
Yeah. So now Broadness has its own base right next to Cape Canaveral.
But didn't they get funded by John F. Kennedy to go to the moon, and they spin off from the Air Force?
Right.
They can have their own bases, but the Marines have their own bases, and so does the Navy, but the Marines fall up under the Navy, like you just said, right? I mean, I could be wrong. I'm sure I'm wrong, or maybe I'm saying it wrong, but I think I'm saying kind of the same thing that you're saying. Everybody spanned off from the Army and the Navy. Everybody's branch spins off from the Army and the Navy. Everybody.
Okay.
That's how I understand it. I could be wrong.
Like the question is, why
the Army and the Navy were first, and everybody came from them.
He said NASA is its own entity on Kennedy Space Center.
Okay, and it's named after Kennedy because of why? Because Kennedy funded it?
The Space Center? I would
Kennedy
assume
funded
that.
NASA. We didn't have a NASA until it was time to go to space.
He said Space Force is on Cape Canaveral.
Space Force. I still find that funny.
Oh, Trump shit.
Because we already had Space Command. We already had Space Command under the Air Force. What do we need Space Force for?
Here, Kev Mac.
I'm doing wonderful, Kev Mac. All corporations launch at where?
Yeah, what's good
Cape
with y'all?
Canaveral. Listen,
He said all corporations launch from Cape Canaveral.
They all fall under the federal government at the end of the day.
Right.
They all answer to the Pentagon at the end of the day.
Okay.
If they lease the land from the United States Air Force, they still under the. Listen. How can I put this?
Simply and straight out.
The president is only the president for 4 years, but shit got to keep running, right?
Right.
He's not always the commander in chief.
Hey,
he's
or
the commander
8 years
in
if
chief
you
during
take that
war.
shit. 8 years if you take it like Trump did.
Yeah, eight years if you take. But you only the commander in chief during times of war.
9th on the like. I got 9 likes. I'm getting there. God damn it. Double digits up in this bit. You know what I'm saying? 13 people and 9 likes. Nigga, I'm rolling.
Man, hold on, man. Wait a minute.
Moving up.
Wait a minute.
You know what I'm saying? I'm moving up in here. Well, 12 now.
I tried to hit the like button, and guess what happened? The shit told me that I'm not signed into my account. Now it's telling me it's a problem signing in. But I was just gonna add to the. It won't let me do it.
Let me ask you something though. Then why what is the reason for us going back at 50 years later? Is there a financial gain now? If it wasn't one then in the 70s.
The spirit of competition. Do you really want China to put a base up there first?
So we going for a base? What if there's
Yeah, they
already
putting a base up there. They putting a
that's
base up
nasty
there.
messing with my account.
They might
What?
be messing with. He might be talking about they messing with my account because I couldn't give you a like.
Hey,
I
look.
tried to give you a like, but it told me I'm not signed in. But I'm watching you on my account. We putting a base up there.
But
the base is supposed to be there before 2030. They trying to have a base up there before 2030. They was trying to have it up there before 2025, but they've been scrubbing this launch. And it's a nuclear fission base, not fusion base.
It's a what? Say that again.
Nuclear fission base.
But how you gonna have to get a nuclear plant
which
up
is
there,
basically
right?
cold fusion.
He said, you ever seen the documentary Backside of the Money? They are looking for something without risking human life.
Backside of the moon is what he's talking about. Backside of the moon, not backside of the money.
Oh, I'm just reading what he. But
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I'm sure
they're looking for something without risking human. They're doing the same thing by sending a drone to Mars, right? They're looking for something without risking human, knowing that humans can't get to Mars right now anyway.
But Tori, let's go to Tori. Let's go to Tori's comment right below.
Satellite communication is the Achilles heel of the U.S. military.
But wasn't the Railgun supposed to take care of that, Tori? The Railgun was supposed to take care of anybody trying to shoot down satellite communication because the Railgun was supposed to be able to knock shit out from the U.S. I mean, the Railgun was supposed to be placed on certain Navy destroyers, right?
Correct. So, are they, listen, from what people have said, you see on YouTube, different people talking about bases that's already on the moon or outlets that they've seen on the moon. They've done videos of large buildings being on the moon or whatnot.
Okay, the Railgun makes space trash. That's bad for everyone. But we spent over like we spent like $1 trillion in developing and creating of the Railgun, and now it's obsolete. Like how much money is being wasted on this technology that they decide not to use just to prove that they can make it. They knew they weren't going to use it. They knew it was not practical when they made it. They knew that.
For those that don't know, what is a Railgun? Let them know what a Railgun is for those that don't know.
You have to pull it up. It's very difficult to explain, man, but it's almost like a laser light that charges and shoots a beam at targets. I'm sure
that they might be doing in Hawaii Observatory with their lasers coming out.
I don't know. But remember that footage that you showed where it had something coming towards the earth and then a light went at it and it hurried up and got out the way?
Yeah.
That could have been the Railgun. That could have been.
Okay.
Yeah, weapons do become obsolete all the time, but I mean, if you're creating a plan, you're supposed to think 5 years into the future, no? The Railgun was basically a very large ray gun. It wasn't something that you could hold in your hand and shoot. It had to be too big for that.
Right. There we go. Railgun Wikipedia now. What Wikipedia say? Is it too small? I don't know. Can you see that?
Yeah. Railgun is a linear motor device, typically designed as a weapon that uses electromagnetic force
to launch high
EMF to launch high velocity projectiles. It don't contain explosives. Instead, relying on the projectile's high speed mass and kinetic energy to inflict damage.
Okay.
You understand what a pair of parallel conductors are, Goob?
Yeah. But what I'm saying is okay. It's just like when I was reading that I found something on the internet where they were bombing certain aspects of the moon, right?
Right,
They were
right.
calling themselves sending up something to bomb, but they weren't saying what they were sending up to actually bomb the moon and why they were bombing certain aspects of the moon.
You
He
know
said
what,
he got
Tori?
to ask.
You right. Things don't just float around in space. They high speed projectiles. You absolutely right. But we are talking about a particular video that we showed on one show where it looked like something was listlessly floating through space. Then all of a sudden a laser is shot at it and the damn thing changes directions and books out the way.
He said he
You're
want
a
to watch a
construction
basketball
engineer.
game.
You don't do rockets. I understand.
Yeah.
You like to watch a baseball game
And
and
F a B. That's what he want to do on the moon. Tory say he a construction engineer. He don't do rockets.
I mean, I just so my uncle, rest in peace. He built parts for the space shuttle, and every time I would ask him about aliens, he would punch me in my chest and say, "Don't ask me about no dumb shit like that." My uncle, ironically, his name is Robert Lee Johnson. Every time I'd ask him, "Hey man, tell me about the aliens," pow, right in the chest, and it hurt too because he was like 6'6", 350 pounds. It
Do
wasn't
you
a
think
light.
he just didn't believe in him, or he just didn't want to tell you?
I think that things are so compartmentalized when you build in parts for for a space shuttle. You just on doing your job.
Right.
You don't get to know the overall scope of everything. You know what I mean? That way, if somebody messes with you, if somebody grabs you and say, "Tell us how you do this," you can't tell shit.
So
If
let
all
me
you're
ask you a
doing is
question.
building the rivets and the tools to make the rivets.
So I'm gonna ask Tory Thompson, and you. What is the purpose of the Artemis 1, and what is it sending up to do what? Map the moon?
That's the crazy question. If they were trying to build a base on the moon by 2025, how many launches are they planning on having? And what type of setback does this one scrub make? I mean, the truth is
Just
boring until little green men show up. It's just men turning wrenches. Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. But who's trying to get to the moon? How do you militarize? I mean, of course, you're going to say it's not military. You're going to say it's NASA. But if you're going to have scientists up there, you got to have people to guard the scientists.
Right.
You can't just send a bunch of scientists up there and tell them to have at it. But we talked about gravity wells, and we
That's what
talked
I was
about the
just gonna speak
gravity
on.
well on the moon being so much lighter than the gravity well on Earth. It would be easier to go from the moon to Mars just based on not having to deal with the sheer force of gravity that you would have on Earth. And I'm sure Tori would agree with me on that one.
Right. It's just like if we're making a base, we're not making a base to protect the Earth, right? We're
Why
using a
wouldn't we?
base.
You definitely not making a base just to protect the United States.
Right.
I mean, but if you say you are, then you are. We're gonna make a base to protect the United States.
Right.
Like I told you, if you really believe in aliens, and you really believe that all of these aliens are the same color when they come, once the base is there, the weapons to protect it will come next. Absolutely.
But what type of do we have the weapon? Listen, have we made weapons that can withstand no gravity? When we have gravity, how do you make
Anything that's laser based is going to withstand gravity.
So it's just going to be laser based weapons.
Anything that's electromagnetic pulse, electromagnetic EMF, EMP is going to withstand gravity and lack of gravity, because when you see the stars at night, you're seeing light. So light does very well.
What's up with you, Lo? I appreciate you stopping through. Say what up, Goo? You see the UFO? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have seen it. Glendale said their excuse was it was too expensive to travel to space for no return. That's not a problem now. They're looking at the moon because the need to build a middle point to reach Mars.
I don't think.
But if that's the middle point, oh, listen, because it only takes 3 days to get to the moon, right? How many days does it take to get to Mars? Have they figured?
Man, we done already covered this, didn't we? Say it was a few months to get to Mars.
So even
with our propulsion now is 7 months to get to Mars.
He said everything that's coming out will be new technology, reflect our time. Yeah, I mean, we gaining technology. I mean, damn near every day. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, you learn something new almost every day. So I'm sure we're gaining enough technology. My thing is, the question is, what is this first? After 50 years, you're sending off this rocket to do what? Look at scope the moon, tell where you're going to stop at.
What they tell the people is never the whole story.
What's up there? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I said 6 months. 6 months previously. Thank you, Crystal.
Correct him, then. Correct his ass.
Okay, so the fourth generation fighter, we decided we were going to leave speed and go with stealth. But I don't think that's true. I don't think we left speed. I think we just figured the propulsion that we can have on Earth can only be so much. If we're going to go with speed, we need to think about propulsion for speed outside.
Is no 50?
Earth.
I don't.
They decided we go with stealth.
Cowboy.
Absolutely, space is a long game.
The current goal is no. I don't know what that is. 50.
No different from climbing the highest mountain in the world.
Than climbing the highest mountain. Okay, got it now. I'm a little slow. Work with me sometime. But yeah, I mean, outside of this planet, I can assume because NASA is not dumb, our government is not dumb. They know it's stuff coming to us that we can't get to, and they figuring out now how did this orb or this ship or whatever get to this planet and we don't know where it came from.
Okay, all right. So if we're using that, then that means that our government made a very large misstep, right? Going back to what I said, when they decided with the fourth generation fighter, we are not going to make anything faster. We are going to go with stealth. Stealth is the way, because you don't have to be fast if you can get through people's radar and sneak up on them and just blow them up and then get out the way in time, right? Okay, right. So now you got these orbs that's blowing past you. So now you know that you made a mistake throwing away propulsion for speed. But I don't really believe that they threw away propulsion for speed. I think that they just put that in the back burner, on the back burner.
Is killing its enemies with machine controlled by a network of space systems.
Okay, now you're talking about Skynet. Tori, you talking about Skynet, now you're talking about Terminator, which I agree. I believe But they showed you that was Spies Like Us. Remember? Do you remember the movie Spies Like Us with Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase?
Yeah. Right.
Where they decide they just going to shoot this satellite. Would you gentlemen like to have a Pepsi or whatever they said in the movie? And I'm a big proponent of believing that whatever they're going to do, they put it in the movies first to let you know.
Yeah. I believe that now.
We weren't talking about really bases on the moon until that last Independence Day came out. That last Independence Day was about we had the technology to whoop these guys. Come to find out, we still couldn't use the technology to whoop these guys.
But what would I see? That's that. I think that's one of the problems that I have. No, we've been doing it. He says.
Yeah, I know. I'm reading it.
We're just going to be able to do it faster with more precision. Like I said, that's what they came up with, that little drone or whatever, and they gave them to over there and who's fighting the Russians. They gave them that ability that they don't even have to send they people over there. Just send that drone over there, and when they see somebody that's an unmanned drone, kill them.
When we have these conversations, it seems like we just giving away old shit to Ukraine, huh?
True.
Let's just give them the shit we don't need no more, because we got a whole bunch of shit that we don't need none of this shit.
While we on Ukraine, did you see that they giving them people over there that's within a 30 mile to a 30 mile to a 40, 50 mile radius, they giving them iodine pills because they know something finna happen to that nuclear plant over there that the Russians took over, one of the biggest nuclear plants in that country. You know what I'm saying?
I did not see that. I must have missed that typing up.
Now that's a basis to use an unmanned drone to try to knock them down, or you're gonna have a nuclear problem. You know,
you would imagine that Israel's iron wall would be perfect for something like that, right?
What?
Like Israel's Iron Dome would be perfect. Israel has a missile, surface-to-air missile system called the Iron Dome, where anybody shoots something towards them, they shit automatically goes up and knocks it down, and they have very few casualties. You would have imagined that because there's a lot of Jewish people in Ukraine, they would send something like that.
He said, dude, they got PlayStation weaponry, Xbox controllers. Just like Call of Duty, I've seen it on Battlefield in person. Wow.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If you're giving it away, which America's doing, it's kind of like, we really don't need this. We really don't need this anymore, so you can have it at cost. We just really watching a weapon sale take place right before our eyes.
Of some shit that we didn't even use. Or we used it in some capacity somewhere, and
it's no longer
we found something better. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Because you're not giving away your top of the line shit.
No, you're not gonna do that. It's just like I had this video of what looks like a cloaked object. Now there's a shadow on a mountain, but there ain't nothing in the sky. And the girl says it like 3-4 times. Like the person that's videotaping the video is like, well, where is anything in the sky? Let me see what Cowboy say. I would think Israel would make the best flight system because of its Air Force techniques and history of making top tier planes.
Every jet Israel got came from us, and they just modify it to their liking.
It's never in charge, so the same men behind the scenes never change.
Absolutely. The bureaucracy runs the country.
Right.
You know what I mean? The president don't get to know all of everything that's going on.
Hey, but this fool, now I got to switch subjects again real quick. As much confidential shit he had up in his house, how the hell is somebody even mad at this dude?
Listen, you
I
can't
mean,
have
I'm not mad. How many people are still backing like Lindsey Graham get on fucking TV and say, if you convict him, it's gonna be riots in the street. Motherfucker, this dude had 184 confidential motherfucking
But he's
paperwork in his house.
absolutely right. There's going to be riots in the street, and the people performing the riots are people who have Blue Lives Matters on the back of their car. The same people
Right.
talking about defunding the FBI right now is talking about protect the badge. So it's very difficult. I don't know where he went. And Uncle Buck says SpaceX can launch of Brother Omar's forehead. SpaceX can launch of Brother Omar's
Off his
SpaceX
forehead.
can launch of Brother Omar's forehead.
He said cloaking is still in development.
Cloaking is still in development. Yeah, absolutely.
For us, it is. But I guarantee you, we got a partial look. Would you say the Philadelphia experiment was a half-ass test of our cloaking ability? If that was true, the Philadelphia.
If it was real, hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, hell yeah. But when you join the military, you basically saying I'm giving my life to the government to do as it wills with it. So if they're gonna put you on a ship and decide to hit a button that's gonna try to make it teleport from one place to another,
like he said, a modern day Jim Jones. This dude can do no wrong, homie. That's what's really baffling. He can do no wrong. The same dude, Lindsey Graham, that got on there and say, yeah, he's crazy, he needs to be out of here. Boy, as soon as he got on his neck, he changed it. And now he done jumped on his platform today with some QAnon shit. Telling them what they did, they wrong for raiding. Like, okay, the FBI can raid my shit, but you exempt from a motherfucker taking some shit and they can't even fuck with you because what? You not the president no more. You just a regular, average Jim Jones, nigga. I don't get that part.
It's not that. Okay, so let's look at it for what it is. Television has fucked people up.
It's just a circle around the moon for pics. Yeah, I assume that they trying to see what's going on. We haven't been there in 50 years. I guarantee you when they rotate around that moon about 4-5 times and they start seeing them buildings and they start seeing all that shit that's already up there on the back of the moon, they're going to have second thoughts about going on that back of that moon. You know what I'm saying? Because there's another entity there. It's always been there. You know what I'm saying? I believe it's always been there. That's just my point of view. And I think they're going to see the same thing and they're not going to tell us.
You know, let's you would have to put everything on the table by saying that. When you say it's something on the moon, then you have to go into the different theories around that. There are certain people that believe that the moon isn't even ours.
Right.
The moon does not belong to the earth. The moon is a satellite from someplace else that got caught in Earth's orbit and tidal locked. It is alien to Earth. It's not ours. And therefore, if anybody is on it, they belong there and it belongs to them. They just got caught in a tidal lock with us after they got caught in our gravity
atmosphere or whatever. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's true. So are we going to try to conquer or are we just trying to get a piece of it?
I don't think you can conquer any, we
are conquerors. As a history of
we are not conquerors. Listen.
No, I'm talking about the whole United States.
We are not conquerors. White people want to conquer everything. That's what I was saying about Donald Trump. Television has fucked people up. Listen, television has fucked people up. You can go back to Bonanza if you really want to know what President Trump is. President Trump is is nothing but another goddamn Cartwright. Anybody remember Bonanza? The Cartwrights weren't marshals, they weren't sheriffs, they weren't nothing. But anybody do something wrong, them goddamn Cartwrights come off the Ponderosa with their guns and straighten everything out. Even the marshals, the sheriffs, and everybody got out the way. And that's really what January 6th is. And that's what you're looking at right now. You got people who are just coming off the Ponderosa with their guns, saying this shit is going to be this way because white means right.
Right.
And as long as you are black, you need to follow our rules, because you cannot have in a society the same people that write the rules be the same people that enforce the rules. Because if the people that write the rules are the people that enforces the rules, that is supremacy.
Right.
That means we can change the rules anytime we want them, what time we want to, and we can enforce the rules anytime we want to. So again, like I say, they the same people. All right, Tori.
I appreciate you stopping through with the information, my brother.
Oh yeah, if you can go live with the second launch, we'd love to see that.
Yeah, definitely, man. Just hit me up. Hit me on Instagram or something. Give me your number. Just tell me to go live, and I'll jump on live and wait for you to come on, homie. You know what I'm saying? We do it like that. Appreciate you though.
I think they said 40 hours.
What's that?
You know, and the next launch. And
it's either Friday or Saturday.
And that is 40 hours from now, it looks like. You can't.
What's up with your hero?
We can destroy the government, but Blue Lives Matter and protect the badge.
Right. Hero wanted to talk about the Anunnaki and all that.
Oh, okay, for sure.
Yeah, so I sent a link out to you, Hero, if you want to jump in. You know what I'm saying? We just talking about the back of the moon. We can always switch. We jack of all trades up here, master of none. We just switch around. We go around the world around this place when it has anything to do with extraterrestrial or life before us. My brother, that's what we talk about. You know what I'm saying? But I did have this video, Omar, that I wanted you to see. He's trying to log in the back. Your device is not connected right now. There you go. What's good with you, hero?
Hey, I'm chilling. What's up with you, OG?
Oh, nothing much, man. Just talking about this moon and why the Artemis 1 was, what is its purpose of going back to the moon after 50 years? My buddy Omar, me, Hero, me, Tommy Omar.
Hey, peace, God. What's up with you, bro?
What's going on with you? What's going on with you, Haru? What you know no good?
Hey, so I don't even know nothing about the launch and none of that, because I haven't really been tapped into any like the world events and stuff, because I'm finishing up this book, Google. But I keep, every time I catch one of your lives, though, you be talking about the Anunnaki.
Yeah.
Right. And like, really, that's us. You know what I mean?
Speak on it.
Speak on it. You got the platform, my brother.
So, like, when we really understand what's really happening, you know what I'm saying? Like, with the when you see now, you see B's and C's, you see GDs, you see people all over the country linking up, and we starting to return to the love and the unification of what we supposed to be, because this is all a part of the time. And if you like overstand the science of the Anunnaki, they return every 25,920 years, right? But really and truthfully, everybody thinks that it's gonna be some beings that's gonna come in like a physical form, but they actually coming back to incarnate in us.
Okay.
You understand? So when we when we understand like that these were whole like beings that actually came here and incarnated, and they made some beings on this planet superhumans. That's really what's going on, and they really trying to stop us from tapping back into who we really are. So that's why all of the shit that's in the foods now, that's why they try to get everybody to take all these shots, and they're gonna continue to keep hitting us with different things, monkeypox, and the next thing is gonna be a strand of this, and it's gonna be this strand of that, because they trying to get us to damage our DNA. And if you understand the real essence of what the Bible is really talking about, when it's actually talking about the Anunnaki, because the actual biblical text came from these ancient tablets. And the first book in the Bible is genealogy or Genesis.
Right.
What's the true religion? They gave us something called true religion, and they told you it was genes.
They told us what? Gene?
Genes.
We had that conversation. We had that conversation before on here, man.
Right.
It got me ran off the internet for a couple
No,
weeks.
because when we go into religion over here, because I'm not a real true believer on that side. I just believe in a higher being.
Right.
Yeah, but it wasn't you that ran me off. It wasn't you that ran me off.
It was the chat. But
It
listen,
was the chat that ran me off.
Would you say that, because most of the Anunnaki have alligator heads, correct? So
well, yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
No, so back in that time, Egyptian times, like Queen Nefertiti, King, her husband,
Ramesses.
Tutankhamun, or
Akhenaten. You talking about Akhenaten?
Yeah, Akhenaten. All them, and they all had alligator heads, just like what the Anunnaki were portrayed as.
Right.
And I had brought up pictures about the Anunnaki, as far as why did they always have a case,
right,
something in their hand, and why did they always have like a watch on their arm?
Right.
That technology that wasn't present back in those times. Right. There was no need to have a sundial, or unless that's what that was, but it looked like a watch.
Right.
Right.
Well, if you just look at this, how was the pyramids made?
How were they made?
How was they made? Like
slaves made it with sandals on, walking through 3,000 feet of hot ass sand. That's how they made the pyramids. They had hot sand, walking in some sandals, going ankle deep, getting 45 million pound rocks,
putting it up by a rope.
With a rope,
right? Like,
and then sliding it over.
And then check this out: when you look at the precision, right, in which the rocks was cut, it's like they was cut with something that was so sharp that it couldn't have been a chisel or any kind of tool.
And somehow they lined up the pyramids with Orion's belt, using some niggas with some sandals on, and some elephants,
and they made the doorways 50 feet high,
in the room.
Them niggas had sandals on with the straps that go around the ankles. See, that's how that happened. They had on a different sandal.
The Great Pyramid of Giza, they thought that was a tomb for some pharaohs, and then once they found out, when they went into it and found out, hold on, ain't nobody even buried in here. So what did they use the Great Pyramid of Giza? They think they used it for light or some type of
power plant.
Power
It
plant.
was a power plant, right? And, the pyramids, they sit over aquifers, because at that time they had a way to transfer water into electricity.
Right.
And a lot of people, I don't like to say what's factual, because some of this stuff we actually don't have the physical proof of it, but a lot of people are under the impression, a lot of archaeologists and scientists are under the impression that Egypt basically was lit up just like LA would be lit up or Chicago would be lit up as far as street lights, that they actually
Well, they
had
do have proof of that. They do have proof of that because they know that what you are looking at is not the cover of the pyramid.
Right.
All of that has been blown off. We do know that that is not the outer cover of the pyramid. We do know that the Egyptians had electricity. We know the Egyptians had light. We know the Egyptians were capable of changing weather in the room. So basically, we can consider that air conditioning and heating. They didn't have to have these big ass palm leaves and waving them around on each other like in the Remember the Time video. They were very advanced. And to be honest, this is why I tell people the Romans never came down and had war on the Egyptians as you would think, and just took out the Egyptians' technology versus technology. They used the preachers. They went through the preachers and promised them gold, and they had the preachers teach them the trappings and how to go in and out of the tomb and in and out of the cathedrals, to go in and out of the palaces, and how to take people down from there. When you really want to get to a nigga, you pay off the church.
Greed.
And then once they did that, and they made these pharaohs submit, then they started burning down all of our books, because when you have a long plan, when you have a long game to make it appear as though you are the creator of the earth and everything revolves around you, the first thing you got to do is burn down everything that you can't steal with your hand. If you don't believe that that's true, then look at the library in Britain. They biggest attraction is everything that they took from Egypt.
Right.
Everything they took from Ethiopia. They didn't buy it from the Egyptians. They didn't buy it from Ethiopia. They didn't say, hey, how much for this gold spear? They took it. And that was a part of them trying to say that these people were Mesopotamians. I'm sorry, these people were from the Jesus Christ. No, not the Middle East. The Mediterranean. They Mediterranean people. They Mediterranean people. They from the Mediterranean Ocean. So they are more akin to the Romans than they were akin to the Africans, even though they sit in Africa. What the hell? And when you go to high school, and when you go to junior high school, and when you go to elementary school in the 80s, and they tell you Egypt is not a part of Africa, when clearly you see it's a part of the landmass, it becomes a problem for people like me. But this is why you have to have black kids go to black schools, not just to be educated, but so that black teachers could tell us why we need to use the education, why you need to go to school, why you need to forward yourself and do better. Again, you don't have to go to college, but learn how to make a toilet, because everybody got an asshole, and we gonna always need toilets. Learn how to put electricity in their house, because everybody's gonna need lights. Not everybody has to go to college, but you can go to trade tech. You could start a business. There's a lot of things that you could do. But when you go to a school with all white teachers and they give you the education, but they don't give you the whys and hows and what you need to use it for because you black.
Right.
You know what? You dropping the ball somewhere.
So you know what the deal with the education system is, that John Rockefeller bought the school curriculum in the early 1900s, and he said that he wanted the school system to create workers and not thinkers. So they systematically created a way to teach people information that wasn't going to be beneficial to them actually having a practicality or any kind of and I'm sleep deprived right now, application to what it was they was learning in school.
I would have to see that. I like to get my hands on that information.
Right. So
Because
I'm
that
gonna
is
pull it up.
completely contradictory to what John Rockefeller doing and having segregated schools, because segregation and redlining is what has defeated black people. It has allowed people to keep their foot on our necks, only allowing us to be in certain parts of the country, because when you are allowed to be in certain parts of the country only, it takes away from your power base because you can't communicate to each other.
Somebody wants.
You
There we
know,
go.
I got some aliens flying around my house right now, says Johnny Sullivan.
There you go, my brother. Go and film it, man, and send me the video, homie, so I put it on my platform. You understand me? No
I
matter
think
what
that's
I do, as long as I ain't with the BS, homie, I'm gonna talk about UFOs and political shit and reference shit like what we talking about now. I love this type of shit. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
I wanted to ask Heru this one question I've been trying to ask him for some months because I met him on another platform, man. Shout out to Neighborhood Real, and other
So
shit that was going on where I met the brother. His name. Does your name mean? Not the Hebrew and not
the
red government
Kaaba,
name, but
the
the
Kaaba
Kaaba.
Ib Atum.
Yes,
So
sir.
Ka is the Kemetic or Egyptian word for spirit. Ba is soul. Ib is heart. And Atun Ray is the undifferentiated one, or the sun at its highest point. So that's what Akhenaten was saying when he was saying that everything needed to go back to the Aten, or the sun at its highest point, because
Oh,
the so when you go through the four phases is Atun Ray, and Amun Ray, where the word Amen comes from, or Amen, right? And then Anun Ray, when the sun or the soul goes into the underworld, right? And then it's rebirthed every day. So that's what it basically implies, that the spirit, soul, and heart of the undifferentiated one. And Akhenaten is one of my favorite pharaohs, because a lot of people think that the Egyptians believed in all of these different gods, but that wasn't what they believed in. They believed in one supreme source, and that all of these different um beings or deities that you saw were attributed to the one most high God, or the Aten, you
okay.
know. Yeah. And his name actually means Ankh, the key of life, was in the Aten, or the high sun.
Well, now you talking a little shit right now, and I respect it. I respect it, but you going someplace that probably people on this show in the comments don't want to go. And I
Right.
say that because the next step is to say that you're not actually worshiping that picture of Jesus. You worshiping that sun behind him, because you are still under Kemetic law, the laws
Right.
of Kemet. So it ain't the Jesus in front, it's the glow behind you that you
Right.
actually praying to. Let me go and stop my camera real quick, because I done said something I should never say. Let me just take a
Right.
moment to just stop for a second for people jumping my
Right.
ass.
Right.
Am
Well,
I wrong? No. Am I wrong?
nah, so when people get into religion, what people have to understand is that when you deal with the Bible, the Quran, or the Torah, you actually dealing with text that was taken from ancient stories. So,
Look who I
it-
got, this cracker in this motherfucker. Hold on. Get this motherfucker out of
up
here.
there, up there in the ad,
Yeah,
yeah,
let's get this ad up out of here. I don't even want him on my
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
But that's a picture of the Anunnaki, and that's what I speak on. But I'm gonna
right,
let you go and finish what you were saying.
right. So yeah, so when you get into all of these teachings, people have to understand that they actually came from pre-existing stories, you know. And even when you read the Bible, it's telling you that it's the King James version of the Bible.
Right.
So I suggest, and I'm saying what I'm saying, so everybody know, I'm actually about to complete my 5th book. So I write about all of this stuff. But
Okay.
when you deal with the King James version of the Bible, you're actually dealing with the newest form of the Bible. And there were actually Bibles that pre-existed the King James version of the Bible. The oldest handwritten Bible or book that we could find in history is the Ethiopian Bible. And the Ethiopian Bible had 88 books in it.
Would that be the Sea Scrolls
No,
that they
so
speak?
this even predates the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
so this is even older than that. And this particular Bible is found in one region of Ethiopia called the Amharic region, which is like the northern central part of Ethiopia.
Okay,
And
stop. Why Ethiopia? Because Ethiopia is where the Garden of Eden is,
right,
and the true birth of Christianity.
right,
Everybody in the Bible is related.
right.
They are family. They all related.
Right.
But Israel can't be Israel if the Garden of Eden is in Ethiopia. So the original Israel was in Ethiopia with a bunch of black folks. So Moses wasn't gonna never find it walking from Egypt because he was walking in the wrong direction. Let me go on and just turn my camera off for somebody got my ass.
Oh, my crazy. Hey, you know, and listen, there's one thing I say about the Bible that is written is the only aspects of it that I believe is that they spoke of UFOs in it.
Can I just
Yes,
can I just take 1 second? Can I just take one
the
second?
platform is yours. I got to use the bathroom, so
The people, hold on, you gotta hear it. Okay, I'm gonna wait till you
Go
get
ahead.
back.
Wait till you come back.
Okay. So we are spending how much money to go to the moon right now? And they scrub the launch?
Yeah.
Probably billions of dollars. Let me
Billions.
give you the passenger list. Let me give you the passenger list of the Artemis 1. While the passenger list doesn't include any humans, it does have passengers. 3 mannequins and a plush Snoopy toy. These is the motherfuckers that run your country. Hold on. These are the people that run. These are the people that run your country. While the passenger list doesn't include any humans, it does have passengers. 3 mannequins and a plush Snoopy toy will ride in Orion. The crew aboard Artemis 1 may sound a little unusual, but they each serve a purpose. Snoopy will serve as a zero gravity indicator, meaning he will begin to float inside the capsule once it reaches the space environment. So what they means is they're not putting a seatbelt on Snoopy. Snoopy will not have a seatbelt on. He's going to go up in space and they want to see him float. Now, why would you need to do that? We already got astronauts that float around the space station. So long, Snoopy. The mannequins named Commander Moonkin Campos, Helga, and Zohar will measure deep space radiation future crews could experience and test a new suit and shielding technology. A biology experiment carrying seeds, algae, fungi, and yeast is tucked inside Orion to measure how life reacts to this radiation as well. Now, I thought we did that at the space station. But you spending billions of dollars to send 2 crash test dummies and a Snoopy doll?
All right,
these are the people who's telling you how you supposed to live?
Yeah.
That's why I believe that they trying to scope that planet to see what's already been there that they trying to avoid. You know what I'm saying?
If you have an Amazon device in your house, you can ask Commander Moon Ken Campos how the mission is going.
That's a good Sunday worship alien about the Bible. Johnny Sullivan, you got about one more time, and if my people ain't put you on, if you even got a wrench, nigga, I'm taking it. I'm gonna put you on timeout because it sounds like you're trolling me. You know what I'm saying? With the UFO
I
jokes.
just don't understand
I don't
why
get,
we
I
have
don't
to
care.
have
Listen,
3 crash test dummies and a Snoopy doll.
right, but like I said, I think they just sending out a probe. It's like whatever is coming into our planet, these orbs and all that. Nigga, it's probably something that the aliens sent out. A little
Well, why
crash
do we
dummy.
have to do that when we have the space station? Why do we need to know that the Snoopy doll floats?
He said
Man,
that this link shows ancient electricity. Yeah, I seen that video where they were showing how they put water into the pyramid and how it extends out and then it's supposed to light. That's why the top looks like that. The thing I was asking, like in the Bible, they talk about Ezekiel's wheel.
yep,
They talk about the burning bush that has
right.
no smoke. It's just a bush that's glowing. They talk about, was it
We
Moses that disappeared for 12 days or something, or months? You know what I'm saying? Then you got um what's the name? Jacob's ladder. I mean, there's so many different aspects that has extraterrestrial signs within the Bible.
Right.
Because one
Jacob's
thing,
Ladder is a book that is not in the Bible. It's a book that somebody wrote to talk about the different levels of hell that
no,
they
have you seen?
created. They made it up as they just wrote a book talk about the different levels of hell, and it
Oh, okay.
became canonized by the Catholic Church. They just use it to scare people.
Hey, I hooked.
Then
I got that. Hero. I locked you in on me. I sent mine as
okay,
well. You know what I'm
okay.
saying?
A little bit about the Bible too is that what people got to understand, and everybody could get mad at me because they ain't gonna be able to prove me wrong, and I don't tell nobody to believe nothing I say. You could look it up, but
Right.
the people who were commissioned to write the King James version of the Bible was Freemasons and occultists. So a lot of the teachings in the Bible go back to Freemasonry. So
Hey,
that's why Jesus, huh?
no. Go ahead. I'll say it after you done. Go ahead.
Okay, so that's why Jesus died and is reborn at 33. You see what I'm saying?
Under the
Because
masonry.
33,
Yeah.
yeah, 33 is a number that's synonymous with Freemasonry. So this is why the KKK will tell people that they're a Christian organization because they're actually a Freemasonic organization. And that's why they call it KKK because K is the 11th letter of the English alphabet. So K plus K plus K is 33.
Whoa.
Consequently,
That's
con-
interesting.
yeah,
Everything that you were saying
That
is
is
correct,
interesting.
but
Yeah.
my disagreement is that in the commissioning of the King James Bible version of the Bible, it was well known that King James was a homosexual,
that's
and they
true.
had to
Yeah.
find a way to explain to King James that everything that they are writing down that they took from these Egyptian texts, he was engaging in, and they didn't know how to tell him. So I can agree with you about them being what later became Masons, but I don't believe that they were Masons because Masons came a little bit after the writing of the King James Bible, but they are in the same family.
Well, you have different stories as far as Freemasonry, right? But you have the Knights Templar, you have the Moors.
Right. All those guys, the Knights Templars and the Freemasons. The Freemasons came after the Knights Templars. They are offshoot of that. But you still had
Right.
a Salvation Army who are offshoot of the Knights Templars. And they all came from the Moors because
Right,
the
the
Moors
Moors.
borrowed heavily from those from North Africa and
Correct.
Ethiopia.
Correct.
and the Moors predated the Muslims, but the Moors became Muslims because they felt that the Christians lost their way after the Christians started, because Christianity predates Islam.
Right.
So really what you have to keep in mind is that when Constantine was dying and he was pagan, and right before he died, he said, I'm gonna embrace this. He wanted to make sure that there were still some pagan rituals
Writings. Right.
and writings within his version of Christianity, which thus became Catholicism, which is the honoring and the praying to the saints and the lighting of the candles to the saints who are humans, and we know humans can't become gods.
Right.
According to what the Bible preaches to us on a daily basis, a human can't become a god, but a patron saint. Never mind, I don't want to go into that.
Yeah.
what we have to understand is that is mostly hearsay, and it's a telephone game, and there's changes made everywhere.
Correct.
Yes,
Correct.
Jesus died and was resurrected at 33. That's true. 33, but you could trace 33 back beyond Jesus, because 33 was a holy number before Jesus, and that's why they said he died at 33. So it predates that. So if to not go too far into that, Haru, let's try to bring it back around and wrap it back to how this affects us with this calendar that we see, this astrology and astronomy as we know it today, because these people in the comment section gonna get reckless, and they gonna get restless, and they're gonna come after our ass for talking about their Lord and Savior. So look, here's
the problem I have. Here's that one problem I have is there's two. First of all, I say about the book being written by a king. The king has the ability to put what he wants in the book and kick what else. If that's the case, why isn't the book of Ezekiel in the book? Because they didn't want it in there, right? For whatever reason. Another thing
the book
is
of Enoch.
The book of Enoch.
Yeah, you talking about the book of Enoch, Goo. Yeah.
Ezekiel's
there. Why I said
Ezekiel.
Because you're thinking about Ezekiel's will. You're thinking about
I'm thinking that. I got two things. The book of Enoch. That, and then the Lord part of it. You know, when a lot of people say, yes, my Lord, Lord Jesus, do this, right? But then you look at movies, and a person that's a Lord, they could cut your head off if they didn't like you.
The landlord.
Yeah, that's where Lord comes from. They use that translation. They use that translation so that people can understand it.
But like I say, to each his own. Like I say, I'm a UFO person, so I believe in something higher than just that material shit that's on this earth.
Right.
You know, and that's my whole basis.
You know how I tell people when I talk about the translation of certain things, and y'all going, I don't know, y'all gonna find this weird. What's the difference between Putin passing gas and farting?
Just a different name.
It's a different name. So,
but it all means the same.
Is when they say God is a zealot God or God is a jealous God, why would the creator of the universe be jealous of anything you do? Especially when he gives you free will to worship who you want to worship.
He said, did the Ethiopian Bible mention anything about the word black? Or what would be equivalent to black in reference to a people or population?
No, the Ethiopian Bible doesn't mention anything about black because black was the only people at the time. So it's just people. But when you go to the Europeanized version of the Bible, it clearly states that I ransom Africa for you. So in the European version of the Bible, God gave away Africa and its people.
Right.
Now you have to say that was something that somebody added. That clearly wasn't God's intention, because God, who's the creator of everybody, is gonna love everybody. He's not gonna give away somebody just for somebody else.
Correct. So that comes in with the Ashkenazi people that call themselves that J word, and the fact that they had to find a way to write themselves into our history.
Now
So
tell me this: why do you think people thought the world was going in 2012 when they were looking at two totally different calendars?
Or 2000. Wasn't it
right,
1999 to 2000?
2000, people thought that
The computers was going to take
electronics
over.
would crash. People
Yeah.
thought
Right.
electronic would crash, cell doors would open, people would get
Right.
out the pen because the computers only go to 1999. Computers don't go to 2000. The programs are going to make everything crash. All of the niggas is going to get out of jail. It's going to be anarchy.
Yeah.
But 2012 was the world was going in. We going to get hit by this big ass rock
Right.
and we going to blow up. And
Well,
they
And
weren't
whose
even,
calendar? Who calendar was that? That was the Mayan
they were saying that
calendar,
it was
right?
a Mayan calendar,
right.
right?
And some
But
people
we had already
think it's
passed
2020.
2012 by their calendar.
Right. Some people also think that 2012 was really 2020.
Some people do
So
think that
yeah,
2012 is 2020. But
yeah,
the question
it's just
is,
different.
if the Chinese got their own New Year,
Right.
the Roman-based calendar got its own New Year,
Correct.
the Mayans have their own calendar, the Aztecs have their own calendar. Who in the hell knows whose 2020 is right?
Right. And when you look at the calendar that we use now, December is supposed to be the 10th month, because DEC is just like decade. 9 is Nave, and 8 is Oct, or like an octagon. October. Sept is 7. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to look at Sept as Septavius. You got to look at August as Augustus, and you have to look at July as Julius, as in the
Julius,
Caesars, because they
right.
were created under the Romans.
Right. That's they added July and August to the calendar for Julius Augustus.
So yeah, so October is Octavius. So they
Boy.
did all of this.
Yeah.
Because and when they
y'all out
did
there,
this, and when they did
y'all
this,
ain't learning
guess what they
nothing
did?
today.
When they did this,
Damn it.
Goob, when they did this with the belief that the sun went around the earth.
Right.
So how do
I'm gonna
you
tell
know
you two
it's
brothers
right?
right here. You two brothers, man, have enlightened my mind. And if anybody that's looking at this or in the comments ain't got enlightened on the conversation that y'all, because you learn something new every day. I tell it, I say it all
I'm
the time.
ruining my political career, that's
If
for
you
sure.
not, if you're not seeing somebody different every day, you might be a hermit. If you're not learning something every day, you might be a hermit, because you got to learn something every day. I mean, and today I'm learning a whole lot from you two
If you don't learn something every day, you dead.
Right.
Yeah.
You might as well die.
You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
let
me say something real quick, Omar, because I'm on the East Coast, so I gotta tap out.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah. So look, the thing about the calendar, right? When we say month, we really saying moon, right?
Correct.
And see Omar nodding his head, right? And women should know this, because their body is regulated on a moon cycle of 28 days. We used to have a perfect calendar that was 13 months, and each month was 28 days. So if you go in the Chichen Itza and the Mayan ruins and you look at their step pyramid, it's actually a four-sided pyramid that has 91 steps on each side. And
He
each
called
one
it.
of those-
And how tall is our pyramid? And what about our pyramids in Egypt?
what about it as far as the height?
What's the correlation?
Oh, they align the same way. Is that what you talking about? The fact that they align the same way as the pyramids in Egypt? Yeah.
They aligned the same way. And why? How?
Right.
Because the Egyptians
Right.
use the warm water of the Atlantic
Correct.
to sail across to what is now South and Central America to teach them how to build. But we went home. We didn't conquer.
Yeah, and it's actually in one of the steles of one of the pharaohs that they call Peru thieves of the West, and that's where you get Peru. And when the conquistadors came and destroyed the ancient city of Peru, they didn't realize that the city was built in the Eye of Peru, but it was built to where you could only see the Eye of Peru from an aerial view. So they was actually building it so that only somebody that would be looking down
Is
on the
that why?
city can see that.
Is that why they have the Nazca lines and all that
Well,
in Peru?
I don't know if it's a correlation between the way they built the city and the Nazca lines.
Right,
But
because Nazca
look, let
lines
me
you can only see from space. I mean, from the sky.
from the
You
sky,
know,
from the aerial view. Right, right,
yeah, aerial view of
right,
Nazca lines in Peru
right.
as well. And Peru is one
Yeah,
of the top places for UFO sightings as
correct,
well.
correct,
You
correct.
know,
They got a place over there called the Face of the God or the Wall of the Gods or something like that,
hmm
where they say like every human facial feature is on this wall or whatever. And they got ancient stories, of course, about gods coming down in that area. But look, I gotta finish explaining this about
Go ahead.
the calendar, right? So the dope thing about this calendar is that like uh your birthday, right? Whatever your birthday is, like let's say your birthday fell on a Wednesday, every year your birthday would be on a Wednesday because they had a perfect calendar that was regulated by the moon. You know what I'm saying? And when Europeans came into power, they changed that calendar, you know. So again, that place is called Chichen Itza, and it's in Mexico where that temple is. And that's what I was gonna tell you. Each one of those sides of the pyramid, it represents one of the seasons of the year. And it's 91 steps on each side. So they had a 364 day 13-month calendar.
You said
Right, which
Chisa.
which eliminates the need for a leap year because we get
Right.
thrown off with the equinox, and you got two equinoxes that jump off. I mean,
Correct.
it's strange, but it's an adjustment that's made because they knew they were wrong. But again, they were operating off of the belief that everything revolved around the earth at the time of
Right.
its creation, not the fact that earth revolves around the sun along with
Correct.
the other planets. And so
Right.
just as an update, Snoopy is going into space. And 3 crash test dummies that was probably in a Saturn. They don't even make Saturns no more, but they probably took some crash test dummies out of some Saturns. Since they like taking names, maybe they took the crash test dummies out of some Pontiac Aztecs. They don't even make Pontiacs no more. And they're going to send them up with a Snoopy doll.
Our stars shine. She said, "What's good with you, Monique Hill? Our stars shine for reasons. Most stars are suns.
Suns, yeah.
So that's
If
why
they find a
they gonna
rainbow
shine.
bright.
Yeah, they go. Somebody is looking at us that's light years away from us, looking at our star, like
Could
we
they
looking
not
at
have
a
grabbed
star.
a Cabbage Patch?
You know what I'm saying? The thing I like about the stars in the sky because they say it. There's more stars in the sky than basically every grain of sand on this earth.
Right.
We don't
And
know
Do
that.
you know that? Do
The
you know
truth.
that for sure?
No, that's what I
We
just
sending
said.
Snoopy to the moon. We sending
Because
Snoopy to the moon. We really don't know shit.
I know I can put up a picture that's 120th of the earth, which is just a portion of the Hawaii Observatory and the sky that's there. And you just look at how many stars is in that one picture of that camera
Aha.
shining in that
But
area.
who's going to count all the grains of sand?
Who's gonna count all the stars?
That's all I'm saying. Like, that's a fucked
Hey,
up
so
comparison.
it
Could they
sounds
not
good.
send
I
a
just used the
Cabbage Patch?
comparison.
Could they not send a
hey,
Cabbage Patch?
No. Hey, Hiru,
A My Little Pony?
I know it's
Yeah,
what
We on the East
12:53, almost 1
Yeah.
o'clock out there where you at.
Yeah. So check this out though. I gotta say this real quick since you said that about the stars, because they say that the human body is comprised of stardust. Right? Are you
Correct.
familiar with that?
I heard that.
So that's why they call us gangsters when we from the streets, because we a gang of stars.
Oh, I appreciate that. I see what you
You hear
did
me?
there.
There
That
you
was
go.
dope
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
That
And
was dope right there.
but seriously though, everything that we know as man, that we know about the universe, Saturn, Jupiter, you know, all of the constellations, all of that only comprises 4% of the known universe.
You know
And
what? And that's got to be about as much as how much we know about our oceans.
The ocean. Yep.
correct. And look,
4%.
they say we know more about outer space than we actually know about what's in the oceans of this planet.
Yeah, hey, I wouldn't put it past because I would believe that because we can't even go to the depths of the ocean. We can only go
Correct.
so far.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Before we implode.
Correct.
Now, a submarine can go down there, but they ain't looking out no submarine window because they probably ain't got no windows because it'll implode on them.
A submarine
Right.
can't go down to the deepest depth of the ocean.
Oh no,
If
it can't even.
does,
It can only go.
It'll crack it like a soda can.
Yeah, it'll crush it. And so, just imagine what's down there.
People
They come up.
ain't no Snoopy dolls, that's for sure.
They found a crystal pyramid beneath the Bermuda Triangle in 2012. I think it was, or 2010.
Yeah, I've seen a couple. I did something on this live of showing the depths of the ocean.
Right.
Homie, I mean the what is it? The highest building on earth can't even match. It's like a little peon compared to the ocean because it's so deep. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we'll never know the full depths of our ocean. And they say our bodies are supposed to be like the earth, right?
75% water, 25% land, just like the planet.
You know what I'm saying? Just like the planet.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do go down there, all you're going to find is a Kentucky Fried Chicken and a couple Cadillacs. That's how you know black people got there first. So it really don't matter. We everywhere. We everywhere.
Hey, we was there first. Hey, man, I appreciate
first. You find that Kentucky Fried Chicken in that Cadillac, just like
hey, I appreciate you stopping through and you know what I'm saying, in your conversation, your knowledge, my brother. I appreciate it to the fullest. Anytime, I usually go on at 8 o'clock. I know it's a little late for you on your side, but Tuesdays and Thursdays, man, we usually come on here with good knowledge. We got Taco Tuesday and Tamale Thursday. We just come over here and conversate. Whatever it is, it's an open forum. A lot of times I'll start it off with the UFO shit and we go from there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, cool.
I appreciate you, brother. I got your number. You got mine now.
For sure.
We'll stay in touch.
Y'all.
All right. Peace out, my brother.
All right, brother. Stay
all right.
Yeah, Monique, that's what we were speaking on. She asked the question, do we believe they've been to the moon? Last time I seen the ship blew up. That was when we were kids in elementary or something, and everybody was looking and seeing that space shuttle blow up. Right?
I believe
that wasn't the last one, was it?
Oh, the Challenger.
The Challenger, that wasn't the
wasn't
last.
going to the moon. The Challenger wasn't going to no shuttle mission went to the moon. They just went to space.
Oh, they were just going to space and coming back down?
The rockets went to the moon. The shuttle.
They just died. They just died going on an adventure, then, huh?
They just blew the fuck up, which was terrible. You know, and a lot of black grandmas said they only blew the shit up because there was a nigga on there, and you know they ain't gonna never let a nigga go to space. I remember hearing my grandma say that shit.
Hey, look,
I was like,
I know before we go, I gotta show this video right here because this is what we were talking about when we were talking about stealth. And have we had that technology? Because it doesn't make any sense why this is on this mountain. I'm gonna play it right here.
Where are the clouds? Where are the clouds?
You see that? Look at that. That's on the mountain.
Right.
Now she finna turn her camera up to the sky.
You see that shadow?
Look.
Where are the clouds?
And we know where that is.
Where are the clouds?
That's Chino Hills right there.
You see that though? Is that crazy?
Right. That's absolutely nuts.
I mean, something has to be close to put that. If there's no clouds in the sky, it looked like a sunny sky with no clouds.
Yeah, it's definitely. She's absolutely right.
Well, I just wanted to see that.
President Biden says he is determined to ban assault weapons. Good luck, buddy. I just want to say to my sisters, I have a favor to ask of you all. If you do, please stop using the term toxic masculinity.
Who uses that term?
Please don't use the term toxic masculinity anymore if you do. See, we are being inundated with other cultures, and they are pressing things into our minds. Right. And we don't even know where it comes from. When I talk, sometimes you hear me on the show at the beginning, when we started talking, I would talk about the etymology, which is not the definition, but where the word comes from. And I just want to take a second to talk about toxic masculinity. The person who coined the phrase toxic masculinity is a man named Shepard Bliss. Shepard Bliss is a gay man. He coined the term toxic masculinity, talking about his daddy. Now, his name isn't Shepard Bliss. Shepard Bliss is his name because that's his writing name, because he writes homoerotic books. Homoerotic books. So when you hear the term toxic masculinity and you think it's something that applies or that you could throw out there, just know who created it and why. They don't understand. They don't understand masculinity because they're not masculine. But is it toxic when I jump in front of a car for you? Is it toxic if somebody's stealing a purse and I beat their ass and make sure you keep your purse? Is my masculinity toxic when I save you from something that you can't save yourself from? When is my masculinity something to be feared? And then they tell you that feminine energy is divine. You should channel your divine feminine energy. Who said that shit? Well, I'll tell you, gay men. Because they want to channel feminine energy. And why do they want to channel feminine energy? Because they do not have feminine energy in them. So they need to channel it from outside. There is a yin and yang. There is masculine energy and feminine energy, and they must coexist together. There is nothing wrong with being the protector. It is not more important than being the nurturer. We must learn to stay in our place because this country has decidedly divorced Black men and women. Black men and women in this country right now do not get along. We don't and we can't.
They pushing that shit. You know what I'm saying? They got it all on every commercial, every TV show. Like, damn, you got to keep. No disrespect to them and what your lifestyle may be, but gee, a commercial. I see this one commercial. I mean, it's just evident. This dude is running. First, he's running from his yard. I don't know what the commercial was about. He's running from his yard. He jump over this fence. He's in front of the car. He waves back to a man coming out the house with a skirt thing on. Like, what the fuck is this? That's not his friend. They don't wave like that. So you just added that shit right in the commercial.
And for Black Lives Matter and their indoctrination to say we want to end the patriarchy, as though a black man leading a family is bad. Let me explain something to you, my lesbian sisters. You can't have a black life without my sperm. I don't care how hard you try. You need my nuts to make a family, just like I need your eggs. The two must be a part of one another. So black lives can't even exist. And if they don't exist, they surely do not matter.
Exactly.
So miss me with this toxic masculinity, because my masculine ass is what's going to stand between you and oblivion when something is coming your way. And your job is to nurture me after I stand in that way. It is my masculinity that makes me want to stand up when the police has me in handcuffs and I hear you screaming. Mm-hmm. When I'm in handcuffs and I'm on the ground and I hear my woman screaming, guess what? I want to get up and beat up the world, because it is my job to be a protector and I want to protect her. So just because you can't have my masculinity, just because you can't have my spirit, just because you can't have what's in me, doesn't mean that you are my enemy. It just means that I'm blessed with something that you don't have. You blessed with something that I don't have. That does not make you my enemy. That does not make me any better or any worse.
People were
so sisters.
Yeah.
When you, I don't care about any other woman saying toxic masculinity.
Right.
This ain't not my issue.
Say
I'm talking to those that make
back to what was
the babies that look like me. Absolutely.
Oh, man.
I would like for you to stop saying toxic masculinity, because it is my job to make sure that you and the children that we make together stay safe or die trying. They have successfully divorced us. Every TV show now has an interracial couple or a gay couple. It is very rare that you find a black man that's the leader of a home on any TV show. And if you do find one, he is a comedian, a la Bill Cosby and my good brother from Compton.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying? We got to be comedians with our shit in order to be taken seriously. Anthony Anderson. And let me tell you something. Anthony Anderson in real life is not a joke. Anthony Anderson in real life is not a sucker. Anthony Anderson in real life has very little play or sugar in him. He is a grown-ass man from Compton. He just plays that on TV because that is what is acceptable. We are not the guys that can go out and save people from the aliens. We are not the guys that could go out and save people from the posse surrounding the house, because that frontier justice belongs to them. And it is that frontier justice that made them go up there on January 6th and say that the Constitution, which enslaved you, does no longer matters or applies.
He said a black family version of Growing Pains is a good show. You know what show that
and
is?
I'm sure that the black family version of Growing Pains is a good show, but guess what? We don't need a black family version of Growing Pains. I watched it. I liked it when I saw it, but we just need a black family show that we can take serious. The reason why black musicians are failing in hip hop right now is because black people acquire a taste for different hip hop artists. So we decide who we gonna listen to and who we not. The reason why Bad Bunny can get on stage and kiss a man is because he's Puerto Rican, and Puerto Ricans buy everything that a Puerto Rican puts out. So they got 1 million albums sold. The reason why Eminem is the highest selling artist of all time in hip hop is because there's more white people than black people, and white people been waiting on a good hip hop artist. It don't have anything to do with niggas buying Eminem, because I don't know any niggas that bought Eminem shit. Nothing he says appealed to me.
Yeah, I don't remember. I can't name somebody. Everybody, we bootlegging and downloading that shit.
So for us, if we want to amass the economic power and take over the things that belong to us that we created, anybody that releases an album that's black, we got to buy it, whether we like it or not, whether you put it in the trash, whether you throw it in a box.
Right.
We have to begin to support our artists, especially the ones that are pushing the right thing. The artists that are pushing the wrong thing, we need not support them.
Mm-hmm.
because there's only 14.1 million of us in this country. There's not enough of us. So we have to begin to vote with who we are. Who we are.
Yeah. And it was, he said, I can't watch Blackish or Mixish.
Or TV in general, because I don't like how the entertainment industry force feeds real issues in the popular culture. Yeah, absolutely. But the reason why I watch Black is because he said he was who he actually was. He said he was a kid from Compton that made it, and Anthony Anderson is a kid from Compton that made it. And I know the brother personally, and I love the brother personally, but still,
but he does mess. I say this about his show because I've watched it. He do take some social issues because the funny part is him at his job and what the white people say and how he reacts to what a white person says, what a black person in reality will really react to.
And our hurt, in our hurt, we turn into a joke because we have been hurt so much that we have to make a joke about it, or we would be fighting every day.
Every day.
Every day. You know, one thing about being a man as you get older is you have to swallow more than you punch.
Right.
You know, sometimes you find out I done swallowed 50 different situations that could have been punching 50 times, which would have led to me getting locked up 50 times. See, when you really start growing into your manhood, you're walking down the street, somebody say, nigga, I got to get home to my family. I got groceries in the car. If I hop out the car and beat the shit out of this guy, I'm going to jail and my family don't eat. So I got to swallow that.
It's neither we're far left or straight gangster. Yeah.
You know what? That's true. That is absolutely true to your point, Cowboy. But guess what? I never saw him in an episode with his pants hanging off of his ass. And I never saw him in an episode where he forgot to pick his kids up from school. Because most of us brothers do that. They say that we don't.
Yeah. I never looked at the other one, Mixes or whatever that is.
Right. Yeah, I haven't watched that one. I just wanted to talk about toxic masculinity because I hear the term thrown around, and I hear the term thrown around by women.
I haven't seen that one, but I fuck with AA. It's in his other
Anthony Anderson.
Oh, he fuck with him. I thought it was a show called AA.
No. You know, I just, you know, toxic masculinity is a term that bothers me because I hear women throwing it around right now.
Right.
And they need to understand that they didn't create the term. The term was created by a person who was born without masculine tendencies. And so he felt that the masculine tendencies were toxic because he couldn't get along with his father. His father wanted him to play football. He didn't want to play football. His father wanted him to go to the military. He didn't want to go to the military. His father wanted him to find a girlfriend. Well, he liked boys. And so everything that his father wanted was not for him. And so he says, in order for me to be a man, I have to be a man the way I want to be. So your masculinity, what your ideal of being a man is toxic.
It's toxic. Okay. I get it now.
The fact that you watch football and I don't want to sit down and watch football with you, daddy, is because it's toxic. The fact that you want me to go out and find a girlfriend when I like boys is toxic. Right. Why can't I be the type of man that I want to be? Because this is what I like to do. So that shit don't apply to you, sisters. That ain't your shit. That ain't your shit. That's they shit. Let them have they shit. And don't let it cross over into your shit.
Right.
Because I'm not going to tell you when I see you getting your purse stolen, hey, go find one of them butch broads.
Yeah, I was looking at this. I'm gonna have to go back and look at these Apollo 17 images. I just changed the subject totally.
Oh, it's all right. Go for it.
Yeah, nah. He said, Omar,
asked me a question.
Yeah, do you think 50 Cent the prototype of what's bad for the black community? A lot of his jokes, attacks, and message promotes some form of negativity in black culture.
I think 50 Cent is his own culture. I think what 50 Cent has done, You know, Ice Cube is not a gangster, but he took gangster stories, and through taking gangster stories and putting the messages on wax, he became a gangster by proxy. I don't know any gangbanger that don't like Ice Cube, but Ice Cube is not from the hood. You understand?
Right.
So 50
He
Cent,
spoke it good though.
he spoke it very well. So 50 Cent is Ice Cube for television.
Right. Right.
You understand? Because the cold part about it is, if you really want to go down the pipeline of people getting paid off, the two most gangster niggas in hip hop now play cops on television: Ice Cube and Ice-T.
Yeah, because Ice-T came out with the cop killer and all that. And
all of that.
Was
he paid to do that? Was he paid to make us go down that vine? And then his payoff is he gets to play a popo on TV? We don't know. I know till I die, I love Ice-T.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He been playing that police role for.
He been playing the policeman for. He ain't had to cut a record since.
You know what I'm saying? He said
Darlene was better than Coco. Man, you starting some more other shit. See, you taking us all off to the.
I remember the nigga used to roll down Vermont, right by my grandma's house on Vermont and Melrose, and that he had a gray primer Porsche. Man, it took him years to get that damn Porsche painted. We used to always see him rolling down. My cousin used to always point, "There go Ice-T. There go Ice-T."
Hey, don't let him see that.
I don't
part
know
of the
where
video.
he stayed. He had to stay somewhere, or he was going off either Santa Monica, Sunset, or Hollywood. But Vermont is like the beginning of all that. You know what I'm saying? If
you mean that breaking Vermont, money? You mean that breaking money?
Yeah, because
wasn't enough to get that Porsche painted.
Right. He used to go to he used to DJ or rap at this club that was by MacArthur Park, where they film breaking at.
DJ, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's where he used to always be at. So he would come down Vermont, wherever he was in the Hollywood Hills or whatever. He would always come down Vermont. Vermont was an easy way to get to MacArthur Park. Now that you're saying that, that may be where he was going.
But he was in breaking, right? Yeah, he was the dude rapping and breaking on the stage while they was
right. Breaking. That's what I'm telling you. Breaking was filmed right across the street from MacArthur Park.
I know. I'm just saying he was in the movie, wasn't he?
I think he played a DJ.
Didn't get enough money. He didn't get enough money to paint the Porsche.
It took him some years to paint that Porsche. But we used to see it a lot of times. But shout out to him.
Still have it.
Like you said, he went from gangster to a cop. Ain't nobody changed nothing on him, because he's portraying what he's portraying. Right? He portrayed in music. He just portrayed in film. 50 Cent portrayed what he was on the street. He just took it in and started portraying it from music. Now he portraying it in movies. He don't got to play in the movies. He putting other people. He just writing and getting writers.
The stories he heard from other people. And see, here's the problem. Here's the problem with Ice Cube and Ice-T. Because they weren't gangsters that played gangsters and got other black men into being gangsters.
Right.
Now they can play cops, but the black people who played gangsters because of them can't be cops. Nor can they play cops because they accepted what they was pushing, even though it was acting the whole time. When you look at it, when you rapping something that ain't you still acting it. You just acting on wax. And their music changed what it meant to be a gangster and a gangbanger. That gangbanging got worse, significantly worse, with gangster rap. It took on a whole different, It took on a whole different identity. And now the people who created the modern day gangster identity are now playing police officers on TV because they was acting like the whole time.
Denzel can switch and play whatever. He can go from cop to gangster to. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna say.
We know Denzel is an actor, though. We know Denzel is an actor. Right. It's just like you now know that Rocket wasn't a tough guy in Colors, because you know that Rocket now is Don Cheadle, and Don Cheadle was a little guy. But when he was in colors, he was Rocket, and couldn't nobody tell me or anybody else otherwise. He was a tough guy.
Right.
But if you see Don Cheadle now and say, "What's up, Rocket?" he probably won't even know what the hell you talking about.
Because
it was just a part to him, but in our minds, it's amazing.
Keeping it real narratives, I feel you. I always wonder if an ex-gang member would be considered a snitch if they became lawyers or judges. Do the rules apply to successful people?
No. An ex-gangster, if they were lucky enough to become a lawyer or a judge, would not be considered a snitch because judges and lawyers are under obligation to not snitch.
Right.
I mean, you got attorney-client privileges, so they don't snitch.
Right.
And a judge is a former lawyer, so
and then it depends on how deep they got into it, how deep they got into gang banging, because unless you get your shit expunged while you a juvenile, it's gonna be hard to be a judge or a lawyer having a criminal thing after 18. You know what I'm saying? Some, I mean, there are some that get past, because Judge Mathis say that he was. Well, right. I was a truant and I did this. I was robbing and stealing, and somebody gave me a chance and I became a judge.
But he was before the computer technology paperwork gets transferred over into you know,
right.
Like they look you up, they finding you.
Right.
Judge Mathis probably 70. They not finding him or anything he did. But you know, people got to stop looking at gang members as a monolith. In every gang, you got people that play their roles. Just like in the military, you got the radio person. You got the radio person in the you know, in the set. Not everybody is the killer. Not everybody is the carjacker. Not everybody is the thief. For damn sure, not everybody is the crackhead, but you got some. You know what I mean? Not everybody is everything. Right. Every hood has the same exact things, but not every gang member is the code. You know, there's killers and there's people that will kill you if you fuck with me. But that don't mean that they out there going to. There's a big difference between a shooter and, man, if you fuck with me, I'm gonna have to do what I gotta do to get you up off of me. You know, it's people just assume that everybody in the gang is the same way, and it's not.
God made the 10 Commandments, which we were to follow. He never added one word to the Bible. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe you.
Well, that's true. That's true.
I don't understand.
What he's basically saying is everything that's in what he's basically saying is everything that's in the 10 Commandments is God's word. So what the fuck is everything else?
Okay.
Well, if the 10 Commandments is the only thing God had to say, where everything else come from?
Okay, so he never added one word to the Bible. The Bible was by.
I mean, you know, so
people say it, but how do we know? Don't know that the 10 Commandments were what a human said. It's just like a human saying this is a table or this is a chair I'm sitting on, right? That's my belief in name game. If we're gonna play the name game, because
that's what I said. A fart, a poop, and pass gases.
All the same thing. It's just like religion. Everybody's God is just a different name. Allah is somebody's God. You know what I'm saying? So that's for Muslims, it's Allah. For Buddhism is Buddha, right? But it's all meaning the same thing, just in different name, just different names.
Okay, all right. Since we own that, I got one, and then I'm done with it. So God told Abraham to sacrifice Isaac on Mount Moriah. Abraham has taken Isaac to Mount Moriah to be sacrificed. He's taking Isaac up there to be sacrificed on the tabernacle because God says so. He gets him there, and then God says, oh man, my nigga, I'm just playing. I just wanted to see if you was gonna do it. You ain't gotta sacrifice your son. Now, see, that would piss me off. I don't think that God would tell me, hey man, why don't you go take your daughter and kill her? I really gotta kill her, God? Yeah, you gotta kill her because I'm God. And I want to see how faithful you are to me. And then I take her, I'm about to kill her. And then guess what? Nah, my nigga, I just wanted to see if you was gonna do it. I can't talk to you for the rest of my days. There's nothing for us to say to each other. And now I'm going to the penitentiary for attempted murder. Because I damn near did it. Right. So that's what I mean. Some of the things that's in there, I'd be like, some of those are parables for test of faith. You're going to go through something, and if you're faithful, you'll make it through.
I mean, you have to, is it something like Confucius? Confucius says?
I would say so. I would say that you have people that put things in the Bible and said it was under the name of God because they were not pragmatists. They were narcissists. They would put their ideal in the Bible and say that they God and God said it.
Oh, okay.
Because you got to be an extreme narcissist to write something and say that this is what God said.
Right.
And it's really you saying it. I just can't imagine why God, the creator of the universe who loves everybody, would tell Abraham to sacrifice Isaac. And then be like, got you trained. Remember that? Got you trained. Like,
got you trained. Right. I don't, that.
Yeah, I know. But your boy had me. Your boy had me on one. He was on here. He's gone. We 2 hours and 21 minutes in.
Yeah. Before we leave, I just want to get this. Let's get this straight. What was our whole purpose? What is their whole purpose of Artemis 1 going to the moon after 50 years?
To create a base, to put a base on the moon, a science base, which of course you're going to eventually put weapons and technology there, but it's to see if you can get things to grow. It's to see, as a matter of fact, I had it.
So what they sending Artemis there to take pictures to see where they can go, where they can land? Is something up there? Because we haven't went in 50 years. You're just not sending nobody up there until you figure out, okay, we can land here. Okay, hey, there's a base.
Yeah, but we know what's up there and where. We've been looking at the moon for years.
Right.
We've been looking at the moon. We know, we got maps of the moon. We know where to land, where we can go, and where we can't go.
See, that's my thing. Then what is the purpose of sending Artemis 1 up there then if we already know this?
Well, the purpose of the Artemis mission, what they're saying is Artemis will land the first woman and the first person of color on the moon. All right. We went to the moon in the 60s. It's 2022, and we finally putting a nigga on the moon. Why? Because they know the aliens is there, and they gonna let the aliens shoot the nigga.
And the female.
And the woman.
And the female.
Kill them first. We gonna send these sacrifices up here to get smoked.
Yeah.
Collaborate with commercial and international partners and establish the first long-term presence on the moon. Then we will use what we learn on and around the moon to take the next giant leap of sending astronauts to Mars. So a base on the moon, and from the moon go to Mars.
And that's the whole thing for this Artemis 1. So hopefully we can get Tory Thompson, man, and he out there on Friday or Saturday when they do launch it, to get him to go live, man. We'll go live on here with the launch of Artemis 1.
Oh, they we will build an Artemis base camp on the surface and the gateway in lunar orbit. So they're building
a base
midway supply run gateway in mid-orbit, and then a base, Artemis base camp on the surface.
Then
And
what
the
is
elements will allow our robots and astronauts to explore more and conduct more science than ever before.
what is
Using
the
Orion
space station doing?
spacecraft.
What is the
Nigga, go
purpose
to
of the space?
NASA. Go to NASA's homepage and type in Artemis, and you can read everything I'm reading.
I did. I already had it up. I just didn't bring it because we almost out of here. Look, my thing is, what is the space station there for? Then, if that's not the middle ground, right?
Artemis base. I said the Artemis base camp is to prepare them for exploration to Mars, because it's easier to get to Mars from the moon, because what we spoke about the gravity and the gravity well, and they're gonna try to grow shit. If they could grow it on the moon, then they believe that they could grow it on Mars.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a cold game, because they just sent that telescope up, that James Webb, and it's allowing them to see further. So clearly the end game is not Mars. They know where they want to go. Hubble is not doing a good job. They needed better imaging. You know, and we used to believe that black holes were the end all be all. You go into it, you'll be destroyed, you die. But now people believe that black holes are wormholes, and they'll take you to another destination in space-time. So as we evolve and change our ideas of science, it's running neck and neck with technology, and that's a beautiful thing. But to finally put I'm not a black person, a person of color on the moon, that means it might be a Mexican.
Hey, listen, that's what we're gonna need to bring up on Thursday.
We know Snoopy going up first,
because I want to talk about this black hole thing. You know, because we do think that everything caves into a black hole and just disappears. What if a black hole is a portal or another way to another dimension?
Would it be so bad if this marble got swallowed, as bad as everything is now?
And hey, look, another thing that you would look at that might be portals or something to another dimension is the Bermuda Triangle and the Asian Triangle, which are both connected from one side of the earth to the other side of the earth. And that may be something that goes in. I'm gonna have to look that up, man, for Thursday. You know, we can talk about it. Man, we've been on here for 2.5 hours. I gotta give you something.
You've been on here for 2.5 hours. I jumped in 30 minutes later. I apologize for that, people.
Nah, you good. I get my little conversation in. You know what I'm saying? Before the start of it.
So Thursday? I'm in Thursday.
All right, Thursday at 8:00, man. We'll be back here. We're gonna talk about the, wormholes and portals, and I want to get in this Asian Bermuda Triangle with the Bermuda Triangle. A lot of people don't talk about what disappears in these triangles, and we have one on either end of the earth that may be connected through the earth.
Right.
We won't know. We'll discuss it on Thursday. Hey, peace out to everybody that stopped through. I appreciate it. Omar, I'll holler at you tomorrow.
All right. Holler at you, brother. Take care, guys.
Hey, thanks for everybody that's stopped through. Check it out, man. Shout out to all my South homies. Free my nigga Yahoo, D Capone, Lil Dre, Huff, and all the other homies that's locked up, man. Free my niggas. Peace out. It's a Pomona thing. I'll see y'all on Thursday. Thank you for stopping through. We're going to do it on Thursday, baby face 8:00. See y'all then. Peace out.